going on, guys? K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great day today. Hopefully we can get this video out nice and quick because as you can see right here, Bitcoin actually pumped over $38,000 this morning. Now, it obviously has pulled back a little bit. You do anticipate there is a little bit of these corrections after these types of moves. Of course, everyone asking now, is Bitcoin a little bit too overheated? Are we getting to the level where we should actually start to have a little bit of concern? I do have a minor warning. I will let you know what that is. I'll actually get to the charts. But again, the big question is, why is this pumping? Well, a lot of it has to do with some rumors and some speculation again, plus a big announcement that came out today. And remember yesterday, in my previous video, I was telling you about how this could really start a domino effect, right? This could start escalating very quickly. We had Custodia Bank launching. We have other big news that came out today. So I want to go into everything today, guys. If you're interested in the TA, I'm actually going to talk about that first, and get subscribed, all that other stuff. Super quick though. Like I said, I want to get this video out fast. So as you guys can see, we actually did get, look at this, we did get a short alert, but that's obviously because of the pullback this morning. This is on the 1 hour, very low time frame. Be careful with that. But as you guys can see right here, remember we were talking about breaking this area right here. Well, you could see that currently we are attempting to break and hold above this. Now, of course, this is only on the weekly candle. We still technically, it's not the end of the week just yet. And, is it a possibility that this could be a fake out, something like how we had this fake out down here? It is possible, right? So what was the big news? Well, you can see right here, exactly 23 hours ago, Gary Gensler had put out this video talking about, risk management and things like that. And Adam Cochran, he actually had said that, usually this kind of stuff is posted by the SEC like a disclaimer before they approve things that they don't like. For example, the last was 4 days before they approved the BITO futures ETF. So they're saying, are they posting this video because now we're going to have this ETF come out? And, there's a lot of people, if you've been following like Eric Balchunas, they're all saying that there's about a 90% chance that we have a Bitcoin spot ETF by the end of this year. And a lot of people are speculating that worst case, it'll be as late as maybe January 10th of next year, right? So that's a lot of the speculation. You have all these guys saying, oh, they're going to approve the ETF today or tomorrow. Again, I don't know. And there is that likelihood that they're not going to do it when people are expecting it, right? They're probably not going to do it on a deadline. They're probably going to do it on some random day. Most likely not during a time in which they're still having the comments, which is still happening right now. So that's why it may not be likely. But hey, I don't know, man. These guys could do anything. So that has a lot to do with this excitement. So people think it's going to get like approved tomorrow, right? Now, I just want to point out, guys, I usually have been putting the TA at the end of the video, but this is really a serious level we have to pay attention to. Now, we know that when we break into these type of blue zones down here, you can see where there was this area of interest, right? And what happened? Once we got up, we started bouncing around in this blue box, but then again, it started acting as that sort of the resistance, right? Before it became the support again. Now, the question is, was this enough of a resistance test to break through? But the thing is, we actually haven't retested it as support yet. And we know how critical this zone is right here. Now, the top of this area, as you can see, to get out of this box would be around 41,600. Now, if Bitcoin broke above $41,600 relatively soon, like as in, within the next month or so, then I would definitely probably say at this point, we are in fact in the parabolic phase. Which I was very skeptical about that at first. And you can already see the rejection off of this level. The reason for that is you had this cluster right here. You had that resistance. You had this fake out resistance. Then you had it flip over into support, right? So we're at sort of the third level, right? The first level was down here, which was these wicks, right? Busted through that, no problem. Second area right here, we had another area of support, even having this wick down here in January of 2022. So again, is there a possibility that Bitcoin just says, screw everybody and it goes straight to 41,000? It's a possibility, but I would just be a little bit cautious at this point, only because we have really been pretty overextended for about 4 weeks. And of course, I am a Bitcoin bull. But again, you can see right here, even on our falling wedge pattern that we've had for how long, the target, right? The target of the, oops, moved the wrong thing there. The target for, if you take it from the initial breakout, the target is all the way up here, basically at 62,000. But we said, let's go with the retest, right? And that brings us somewhere between 47,000 to maybe a 52,000 high. Now, I still stand by the fact that this is the price level that we're going to. But again, the question is, now that we are hitting this incredible area of major resistance, do the bulls actually have enough to break through? Because remember, as we were coming down here, right, we had this this, right? And then what did we do? When we broke through, we had a bump and run retest, right? So we retested this trend line right here, okay? Let me get the drawings off. You can see where we did that. Now, on this secondary trend line, which I said was the other major area to break through, we have broken through it, but we have not had the retest, right? So the retest, if we were to come straight back down, would bring us to around $30,000, maybe $31,000. And I honestly, personally would say that that would be a healthy potential retest for Bitcoin. Of course, this is not me being bearish at all. It's just the same thing like here. You know, you put in a higher high, a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. And the next logical thing would be to have a pullback and put in some form of a higher low, right? We are seeing massive momentum. And just to point out the similarities, you know, as you guys could see back here, the money flow generally flips into this fake out area of green, and then it flips back into the red, right? And that's usually where you have that second opportunity. So that would, if you were going to, look at that again, that would say that the first opportunity was here at 15.5, and the second opportunity down here, which by the way, just pointing out, we did in fact have anchor wave, trigger wave over here on Market Cipher. And zooming in right here, look at that call right there. Look at where we were, sitting around $26,000, and boom, we blasted off, right? So having a look at this right here, we're not necessarily seeing immediate that we have to start, dumping or having a pullback, but I would just keep an eye on that. And the other thing that's quite interesting is the fact that we do have the death cross. Excuse me, not the death cross, the kiss of death over here on the DXY, right? So we came up here in this perfect parallel channel. We chugged sideways, came back down, and look at this. We've had 3 days now, 3 days of rejection off this level. And what's interesting is if we actually come over here and have a look at the S&P, yes, the S&P did have a nice bounce from the lows, but the S&P has actually been in the red for the past 2 days, whereas Bitcoin, actually had this crazy pump. So I'm literally making this live, which is quite interesting. And you can see that we are now having this retest of the top of this area. So short term, you would want to see this hold, but again, kind of shorter to midterm, there is still that possibility of, the pullback. But again, guys, regardless of whether or not we think Bitcoin is going to have a pullback or a correction, I'm looking at any of these dips as possible buying opportunities. I do think we may still chug sideways a little bit, but I think the trajectory is going to continue upwards over the next 2 years, to be honest with you. I'm looking at like 2 years of pretty much consistent upwards movement, obviously with your occasional 30%, 40% type of pullbacks, whatever. We know how Bitcoin, acts. But like Wolf of Wall Street, Scott Melker pointed out, if you had started dollar cost averaging at the dead top of the cycle, you started buying $100 a week at $69,000, okay, you would have invested $10,000 and you would be up 34% at $13,431. Now, I know that this isn't like a life-changing amount, but he's just trying to make a point right here that at this point, there's no excuse if you've been buying from the top. So basically, if you have been buying dollar cost averaging, yes, it was painful, yes, it was brutal, but at this point, you should be in profit, right? So that's something very interesting. And as we were talking about Custodia Bank, look at how this is spilling over. As Seth points out, breaking news, HSBC, one of the world's largest banks, said it plans to start a digital asset custody service for institutional clients focusing on tokenized securities in crypto in conjunction with Swiss crypto safekeeping specialist Medico. So it is happening. It is beginning. And, Natalie Brunell, she broke it down really, really well over here on Fox Business. And she was discussing essentially why we're seeing this sort of shift. And again, this is going into the same thing we were talking about yesterday, how the old ways are dying. They are changing. People don't want to invest in these terrible BS products anymore. They want hard, sound money. And with this rampant inflation, the money printing, the lack of trust in things like Fed, and banks and things of that nature, this is exactly why she says, we are moving towards this new paradigm.
A symptom of broken money. And I think you would agree that incentives drive outcomes. And when our money is broken and real wages don't keep up with the cost of housing, education, retirement, then what is the incentive to work hard? If you work hard but can't retain the value of that work, then it's really hard to find meaningful purpose. And what do people with no purpose do? They distract themselves with pleasure and experiences. And so what I think these younger generations really lack is economic hope that the future will be better if they work hard. I mean, in the 70s, you could have a one income household purchase a nice home, afford a nice middle class life. And today, young people are seeing that even two incomes plus a side hustle doesn't make ends meet. So I think that's skewing the value system, even the morality. And what young generations really need is Bitcoin. They need to be able to save and plan for the future with a form of money that can't be manipulated. Fix the money, fix the world, Charles.
And it's so funny because with the Gen Zers and so forth, they must also be angry. Every day there's memes come out, and you just kind of triggered one in my head where the couple bought a house for $61,000, didn't put any repairs into it, sold it for $1.7 million to a hedge fund, and then complain why these younger folks won't work harder. So I was just reminded of that. There's another aspect to this too, though, and the world is on fire. Let's face it, and it's probably going to get a whole lot worse. And you say that Bitcoin is the currency of peace. Explain that.
Sure. So with fiat, if people in power want to finance a war, they can just print the money and spend it. But if you can't just make money at the stroke of a key, then you have to ask permission of the citizens to spend their money. And so that would limit the government's ability to fight endless wars. And so I agree with those out there who say that fiat is the currency of war and Bitcoin is the currency of peace, because Bitcoin is about consensus. And with the incentives in Bitcoin, they benefit those who cooperate and play by the rules and put in the work. Bitcoin actually neutralizes greed because everyone who supports, mines, or buys Bitcoin adds to the overall strength of the network. And so most importantly, instead of projecting this sort of kinetic power and going to war as a sign of strength like America has done for many, many decades, why don't we go back to the value of building a prosperous and robust economy as a sign of strength that serves as an example for other nations and other people to emulate. We used to lead by example because great economies are what make great nations. And that is what the American dream was built on. And I think we can return to that with Bitcoin.
You may have also noticed something else today, guys, this morning. While Bitcoin, you can see right here in 24 hours, was up 6%, ETH was up 7.7, but in just 1 hour, it actually pumped the majority of that move. So it was lagging behind Bitcoin. And then you can see right here, it did break above 2,000. Now, obviously, at the time of making this video, it may be back below 2,000. I don't know. But that's not really the point. The reason that this happened, and this is pretty crazy stuff, we have the iShares Ethereum Trust has been registered in Delaware. So, yes, guys, this is BlackRock. This does not mean that they have filed for an Ethereum ETF, but the fact that they registered this trust obviously means that they are going to reach out for an Ethereum ETF as well. So this could definitely throw a wrench in the gears when we're talking about this path to alt season, right? We know usually Bitcoin moves first, and then it moves into Ethereum, and then it phases into larger caps, and then we get into full-blown alt season. But now, if they are launching this Ethereum or the ETF or their going looking for one, registering one. I can't talk right now. This could change things for a lot of people, and this would actually make wanting to get more of an Ethereum allocation a possibility, right? Because now they may have access to that at first. Although it is unfortunate because it may actually suck some of that capital out of the Bitcoin because it's probably a lot of the same people. But again, I still see Bitcoin as the major blue chip, and I still think that most people are more comfortable with Bitcoin than they are with Ethereum, and I still think that Bitcoin would lead, but this may create a little bit of disparity, right, between the usual way that alt season tends to play out versus what could happen, right? You could see Ethereum obviously outpacing Bitcoin, them moving up at the same, something like that. So just kind of really crazy world, crazy interesting news. You want to hear something really crazy? I just wanted to throw this story in at the end. So look at this. FTX eyes a lawful return under scrutiny. Listen to this. This is crazy. In the wake of its legal entanglements, SEC Chair Gary Gensler opened the door to a potential revival of the cryptocurrency exchange. On Wednesday, November 8th, Gensler spoke at DC FinTech Week, suggesting that FTX could make a comeback with the right leadership and a commitment to legal compliance. You've got to be kidding me, guys. If this doesn't show you Gary's allegiance, first of all, he's having backdoor meetings with Sam. He's completely ignoring Coinbase, even though they're trying to reach out to him for 2 straight years. Just absolutely corrupt. We need to fire Gary Gensler, and it's unfortunate that all of this ETF stuff is hanging on, what this guy says. Absolutely ridiculous. But we know that they're running out of excuses, right? Because if the judge says, well, this is not a possible reason for you to be rejecting it, then they can't use that again. So now they have to keep finding new reasons to reject it. And inevitably, they're going to get backed into a corner and have no choice, right, but to approve it either way. But, again, guys, getting back to Bitcoin, just be a little bit careful right here, because we are, there is the possibility that we could get up all the way to about 41,000. Obviously, if we break 41, I mean, then that's it. Then we are probably going to enter the parabolic trend. But as of right now, just be a little bit cautious. We may have that retest around 32 right here, this area, or even somewhere down to 30. And I know people would say, oh, well, if that's the case, then it would just be, it would just go the other way and that would be it. But no, I mean, guys, during the most insane rally of 2017, right, where Bitcoin literally did a 20x, we had like 7 to 8, 30 to 40% pullbacks. Think about that, 40% pullback. What is a 40% pullback from this area? Just kind of where we reached up here. So a 40% pullback, look at this, guys. This would bring us all the way down to about 22,000. Now imagine if Bitcoin went back down to 22,000. Everyone and their mother would be saying, see, I told you so. Except we had 7 to 8 of those happen in 2017 alone. Okay, and Bitcoin not only went to 20K, fell down to 3, and then went to almost 70. Okay, so a lot of people like to cherry pick the tops. They're always looking at the tops, look at the tops. No, look at the bottoms, okay? Look at the bottoms. You had the low, right, when January started in 2017 of $1,000. And then what happened? Pumped to 20K. Okay, that was great. Where did the next low find itself? 3,500, 1,000, 3,500. That was a 3X, right? Then the next low, 3,500 to 15.5. That's, I don't know, a little less than 5X or something like that, right? Or more. I don't know. I can't do the math. But you see what my point? So you're going from 1 to 3 to 15, okay? But people like to cherry pick the fact that it fell from 70,000. Yeah, and guess what, guys? We're going back there again, and we're going higher. But, obviously be careful in the short term. So make sure you guys get subscribed. I know today's video was a little bit all over the place. I didn't really have as much time to plan the video out because the crazy price action. I just wanted to kind of get it out to you a little bit quicker. So that is it for me, guys. Thank you so much for coming back to the channel. I'm super excited to share with you a project that I've been working on for a very long time. It's obviously not a coin or a token or anything like that. It's a legitimate signal thing. And, a lot of people are like, well, if you make this thing, why would you give it out? Why, if it works so well, why would you share it? Well, honestly, guys, because just to be totally transparent, I've done very well in crypto and, we do want to share these things. And so what we're going to offer is a free Discord, randomly picked signals, just going to kind of we're not going to cherry pick them. They're going to be randomly, algorithmically, just randomly picked. And you can use this. We're going to be launching this in a couple weeks. So make sure you get subscribed, and we'll have a totally free section. So if you guys think it's a cash grab or it's about money or something like that, it's not. You can go, you can get you can get the free signals. And if you like what you see, and if you think it's worth buying the actual product, then great. If you don't, I'll be here every day for free, letting you know what I see. Either way, guys, but I am excited to share that with you when the time is right. But anyway, I love you. You're awesome. Thank you for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. Make sure you check out these tutorials popping up right here, right now. And yeah, check out CoinCatch, check out Femex. Lots of opportunities right now, $66,000 in bonuses. And yeah, that's it, guys. So until next time, stay crypto. And of course, peace out.